my fellow free love sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LL3-Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful realms of planet Earth. Today's date is Sunday, May 25th, 2025. This is episode 1840. The ugly truth about Nuremberg's tribunals and how the ruling class manufactures normies. Before I proceed, you can find me on multiple social media sites and podcast channels. Just type in Looky Luck number 3, Looky Luck Roman number 3 with 3 eyes, or Looky Luck Roman number 3 podcast. Furthermore, if you have any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use decorum. You can hit me via email to ll3.podcast@proton.me if you want to donate, go to paypal.me or cash.app/Looky Luck number 3. Oh yeah, the 5th anniversary of the deception, the lies, the propaganda media of George Floyd. I'm not saying he deserved to die or anything like that, but it was self-inflicted based on the video footage I've seen from the Minneapolis Police Department's cameras, unfiltered, no commentaries whatsoever. I've taken the initiative to watch it after the whole Derek Chauvin case. And I can say this, all the police officers who got arrested and plead guilty and all that, they should all be pardoned immediately. Rather on the federal case and state case. If Tim Walz is a real man, pardon them all. If not, but we all know he's not more than a treasonous bawd. Just like the male Kamala Harris, I can say in good faith. Uses knee pads to get in his position. And of course, we're all talking about what's going on with the genocides and democides and all that good stuff. Benjamin Netanyahu had the audacity to say that if you say free Palestine means hi Hitler, well, with all due respect and in good faith, so you projected that well for a very long time as prime minister multiple times. I do remember what happened when the time you locked the nation down. Then you had everyone take the jab through coercion. They don't get their benefits. Oh yeah. Is that exceptional? No. The war crimes? Yes. See, all those people out there want to protest the genocide and all that. You should put that in your platform. You get greater ammunition instead of being one-dimensional. But remember, you got faction slaves everywhere. Like I had to see one clown going, "Wow, Jesus was a communist." Yeah, and I could defecate gold. Okay, dandy. I just find it so comical, folks. It really blows my mind. We all got all these Dinkleberries out there claim to be activists. You know, they can't even fight out of a paper bag. It's just so comical. This is why I tell people, man, it's like, hey, know your rights, study them thoroughly, and execute. Utilize their language when it comes to the political hacks and politicians and lawyers and all that. They hate that more. But you're going to go, well, he was a communist. I was like, ooh. I'm like, yeah. I thought you should go, moo. We'll let the cows out, right? As the same knuckleheads like from the Tim Walz Club and Kamala Harris. Doesn't matter if Democrat Republicans because you have Jacobins in all avenues. All you got to do is study a little history on this. But man, this is just like unbelievable. You know, like they come about China's collapsing, they're supposed to be doing attacks in areas of India, and they want to go to Taiwan, and they want World War III so bad. See, the banksters, the Rothschilds are licking their chops. They want this to be full-fledged so they can take everything and put every nation into debt and makes us into a one-world government, global institution. The global will be through technocracy. Technocracy News is a good website to check out. Technocracy.news. Please, I encourage everyone to examine these things. They're going, red, yeah, team blue, yeah, moo. Yeah, come on. Good grief. See all these geniuses out there, you know, all claim to be political bandwagoners. Yeah, I'm a cult member. Don't say that. It hurts my feelings. And all people hate Trump so bad. I'm just laughing so hard. It's like, yeah, I've been politically involved until Donald Trump came in. Yeah, because I'm so delusional and pathetic, I complain too much. Now I'm going to take action. And I sound like a banshee in heat. Well, the truth of the matter is, folks, like I said before, I know I digressed. This is harp multiple times. Never trust the government, please. It's absurd. I tried to do a live feed today, and everything went to hell in a handbasket. So I'm just redoing this, but it's okay as it's part of podcasting, life, business, and all that. So I'm having too much fun. So I'm going to start reading stuff. The two articles came from realnewsandhistory.com and Mike King University, right? They had a book out called Dig 'em Up. Heard his interview from Power of Prophecy, by the way. It was good. Doesn't matter what your faith is, but his content's good. It says here, the ugly truth about the Nuremberg murder circus tribunals. As he has to say, according to an account written by the drunken, cigar-chomping, terrorist scumbag Winston Churchill, it was during the 1943 Tehran Conference that Uncle Joe Stalin proposed executing 50,000 German staff officers after the war. American gangster President Franklin Roosevelt then joked that 50,000 was too many, but that 49,000 would do, though Churchill claimed that the sick joking upset him. Sure it did. Winnie, sure it did. The murderous allies were all in agreement that trials of Germany's top leaders would take place after the war, and indeed they did. When Jewish matters and Hollywood influenced show trials began in late 1945, as 8-panel tribunal was seated, 2 judges each from the U.S., UK, USSR, and France. The primary judge was Francis Biddle of the Biddle family that spawned the 19th century American Central Bank chairman and nemesis of Andrew Jackson, Nicholas Biddle. We are the family. Oh, yeah, yeah. My usurpers, brothers, sisters, and me, and my grandparents, too, right? I'm just being sarcastic because you got to think about that, folks. Birds of the same feathers flock together. Honorable German leaders were to be condemned as war criminals by governments that not only imposed war upon Germany, but also carried out the Hamburg, Dresden, and Tokyo fire bombings, the sinkings of the civilian ships, Wilhelm Gustloff and Goya in the frigid Baltic Sea, and forced return of Russian refugees and POWs into Stalin's vengeful henchmen, the starvation, disease, murders of 1.5 million German POWs, the execution at Katyn Forest, that was in Poland, by the way, the mass raping of German women, the dropping of atomic bombs, and other real war crimes numerous to list here. And here's a photo, too, of Joker Justice. Of the accused at Nuremberg, 11 were sentenced to hang, and 7, including the peacemaking parachutist Rudolf Hess, received a long or life prison terms. Hermann Goering, head of the Luftwaffe, which is Air Force, managed to cheat his executioners by taking poison in his jail cell, or was he suicided to duplicate the Book of Esther, Purim scenario? These were good men, noble men, peace-loving family men, ignobly murdered in cold blood for daring to protect Germany from the demonic henchmen of the New World Order crime syndicate. May they rest in Valhalla at the right hand of the even greater hero that they served. And they have the photos here of Sheriff Alfred Jold, and of course, General Wilhelm Keitel. And we have here Marshal Hermann Goering, cheated by the hangman, taking poison, of course. Of course, Joachim von Ribbentrop, Foreign Minister. Alfred Rosenberg, Minister of Occupied Territories. And Rudolf Hess, Deputy Fuhrer. Hess died in prison in 1997, murdered by British intelligence before he could be released. Admiral Karl Donitz served 10 years in prison. For the cruel and vindictive all lies, simple murder wasn't enough. The executioners used a short drop instead of neck-breaking long drop. The victims die a harder death due to strangulation. Additionally, the trapdoor was too small, such that several of the men suffered bleeding head injuries when they hit the sides while falling. Adding final insult to injury, the bodies were cremated and scattered over a river, denying the families the right of burial. The Nuremberg murder circus was surprisingly vehemently condemned by the prominent personages of that period. Thanks to a book to the editorial board by a comrade in informational arms down in Florida, we learned that several hundred prominent American and European political figures, writers, artists, and military men were not only anti-Nuremberg, but also outspoken about it both during and after the events. Naturally, the true story of the opposition to Nuremberg is one that has been buried by the horrors and ignorances as referred to as court historians. And I'm sorry for hearing that vibration. I'm going to take care of that right now. Oops. Good. Got that taken care of. All right. So, I'll continue on here. The eye-opening book is entitled Donuts at Nuremberg, a Reappraisal. It is not really a book in the conventional sense. It is a collection of the on-record statements made by 200 VIPs for World War II truthers. The usefulness of the book lies in its inability to penetrate the thick skulls of our uninformed brethren who remained under the impression that Nuremberg were some sort of holy tribunal. A few quotes posted below. Number 1, condemned men shared lunch during Nuremberg show trials. Okay, you can see that's all photos here. Here's some of the quotes, right, that was said about this. A few quotes below. This is by Senator Robert Taft. He says here, the trial of the vanquished by the victors cannot be impartial no matter how it's hedged. About this whole judgment, there is the spirit of vengeance, and vengeance is seldom justice. This is from novelist Taylor Caldwell. I have been boiling mad for years over the war crime trials, which I think were despicable and contemptible, and smack more of ancient Rome's barbarians than a so-called civil society. Justice Learned Hand, which is U.S. Circuit Judge, have always regarded the Nuremberg prosecutions as a step backward in international law and a precedent that will prove embarrassing in the future. And this is what Admiral Stanton Merrill says. I consider the war crime trials in general and the trials of Admiral Donuts in particular a matter of hypocrisy resulting from a war-bred hangover. Admiral Frederick Horn said here, it has been my belief that after the war, emotional hysteria was responsible for the trial and imprisonment of the German high-ranking military and naval officers, and that we should reflect with the shame upon ourselves to revenge upon men doing what we do for our own country. I am glad to have my name included in any effort to atone for the injustice done to Admiral Donuts and to any others who were likely unfairly treated because they loved their country. Adolph Manjot, American actor, I was appalled to see Soviet Russia judging when they themselves were guilty. I am happy to join my name to those attempting to make amends to Admiral Donuts. But the communists everywhere were very happy about the Nuremberg murder circus. Here's one quote here. Nuremberg trial of the German war criminals was tactically based on recognition of the principle criminals cannot be excused if committed on government orders. Conscience supersedes the authority of the law of the state. That's Albert Einstein. And of course he wrote, shut up, St. Albert, you startling love and piece of filth. Just shut the bloody hell up. Well, it's very interesting because I like to look at all sides of the matter. And even a person like myself, we've all been swindled one or the other, and we've got to realize the victor writes the history books. It's just the nature of the beast. I seen this documentary called Hellstorm. I forgot the gentleman's name, unfortunately, but he wrote a lot of other books. He did a documentary, and his saying, but never again, is going to be across the board. Why? Because many innocent people, non-combatants, suffer most of these wars. It's been going on for a very long time, and look what's going on in the Middle East, for an example. Okay, don't get me wrong, folks. I renounced what happened on October 7th myself, which is 2023. I still question it. I'm not going to buy the official narrative. If you don't like it, too bad. I am not convinced. If you still buy that hype. It's like I got palm trees to sell you in Pluto, right? Come on, think about that, folks. It's just insane. Just total manipulation, mind control, and all that. We have to look at all sides. The ones who actually won the war were the banksters. They didn't give a damn about human life, along to control the nations and put them in that debt machine. Go, yeah, we got you by the crotch. That's why I renounce these things. If these bastards, if you want to go to war, go on the front line, see how tough you are, right? That's how I see it. Well, I'm going to do one more here. And this is from same gentleman. And this one's called The Secrets of Society Shapers, or How the Ruling Class Manufactures Normies, by Mike King. What is a normie? The real hopeless victims of mental illness are to be found among those who appear to be most normal. Many of them are normal because they are so well adjusted to our mode of existence. Because the human voice has been silenced so early in their lives, they do not even struggle or suffer or develop symptoms as neurotic does. There are normal, not in what may be called the absolute sense of the word. They are normal only in relation to a profoundly abnormal society. Their perfect adjustment to that abnormal society is a measure of their mental sickness. These millions of abnormally normal people living without a fuss in a society to which, if they were fully human beings, they ought not to be adjusted. That's Aldous Huxley, who wrote Brave New World. We'll continue. Edward Bernays, and me, cough, cough, right, was one of those relatively unknown characters of history who, from behind the scenes, helped shape American society, and by logical extension, the world in general, more than any president could have. A nephew of the famed sex-mad quack Sigmund Freud, Bernays understood the science, art of manufacturing public opinion better than anyone. During World War I, Woodrow Wilson called upon the services of the legendary ad man who would later train women to become smokers by linking a dirty habit with the women's suffrage movement, and who has also trained many of us to crave bacon and eggs for breakfast. Under Bernays' influence, the Wartime Committee on Public Information instantly and successfully transformed the public image of the cultured, peace-loving Germans into one of the marauding, bloodthirsty, warmongering Huns. Reflecting upon his success with psychological manipulation during wartime, Bernays later described how the same tactics could be used to control the masses during peacetime. That's what Bernays says here. This was one basic lesson I learned in the CPI, that efforts comparable to those applied by the CPI to affect the attitudes of the enemy, of neutrals, and the people of this country could be applied with equal facility to peacetime pursuits. In other words, what could be done for a nation at war could be done for organizations and people in a nation at peace. Whew, sorry about that. In 1928, in his book titled Propaganda, really let the cat out of the bag for us conspiracy theorists, the father of spin, as one biographer described him, wrote this: the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. If we understand the mechanism and motives of the group mind, it is now possible to control and regiment the masses according to our will with their knowing about it. Our will without their knowing about it. Sorry about that if I goofed. Bernays knew what he was talking about because he himself was very, very close to the society shapers and cultural creators who relied upon his evil expertise at manipulation. And there's some stuff right here to check out. His book, Propaganda and Crystallizing Public Opinion. I'm about to get that Crystallizing Public Opinion. I got propaganda on my shelf, too. So you can even look it up. I'll continue on. Bernays' words teach us from direct knowledge that the masses at large are like so many bits of malleable clay in the hands of the society shapers. Indeed, in the grand lobby of Rockefeller Center in New York, which houses the headquarters of the very Jewish NBC TV and radio network, a billboard with images of famous historical personages of NBC News and TV shows actually read, NBC shaping American culture since 1926. So we know by their own arrogant admission that they do indeed shape society and create culture by getting the masses to passionately believe whatever the heck they bloody want them to perceive and believe. No matter how counter-initiative of absurd, I think modern art or the Holocaust or climate change or man-on-man marriage or choose your gender or social distancing, etc. That's what's the matter of the matter. With the knowledge in mind, the remainder of this piece shall address the how of the phenomenon from a psychological, philosophical perspective. If you're an anti-conspiracy theorist who doubts that so many people, including those of high intelligence and accomplishment, can be so easily duped, believing this or that falsehood, then the following description of society shaping dynamic should, we hope, help you to understand that it's not really not difficult to brainwash 85-9% of the public, which is really all that they need in order to move their agenda forward. Yep, you can see all that stuff there. So interesting, right? You got photos in this article, so you can just, I will leave those footnotes in there so you can see it for yourselves. Read and all that good stuff. Think of society as a large ballroom floor full of people buzzing about from one end to another. In each of our four corners of the room, four respected speakers with mighty bullhorns scream out false information from atop elevated platforms, unbeknown to the stirring masses. The big four, though seemingly situated far apart from one another, are actually all members of the same elite club and working in concert. They are part of the mafia-like network of society shapers who incestuously associate and often intermarry with other such high-end muckety-mucks. In one corner, big media, fake news, shout out lies and half-truths to the credulous crowd circulating around them, never mentioning certain inconvenient facts which could contradict the hidden agenda. And in another far corner, big academia, in so serious tones of gravitas, echoes and reinforces what big news is shouting. Smaller academia, colleges, high schools, middle school, K-5 elementary schools all follow the lead of big academia. From a third corner, big government, subtly or overtly, backed by the threat of force, again shouts from the same script as his co-conspirators. And finally, in the fourth corner, with perhaps the loudest bullhorn of them all, big Hollywood, by way of cleverly embedded propaganda inserted into TV shows, movies, and music, reaches the ears, hearts, and empty minds of even the simplest dumbasses who neither finish high school, nor follow politics, nor watch the nightly news. By one time of the unsuspecting and confused mob has finished a cycle of walking about from one end of the crowded floor to the other, his malleable mind will have been blasted, marinated, and saturated in the most stupefying propaganda imaginable. Only Norman Normie will realize that the room is steeped and fakery because he has never been exposed to an opposing viewpoint. And if he does happen to chance across an awakened activist with another opinion, he probably denounced him as an extremist or uneducated or a conspiracy theorist, simply because he has never heard such an opinion before. And should that errant truther begin to red pill more than a few normies, the bullhorn of bullshit will inevitably unload their toxic cannon fire at him, thus cowing other active truthers and curious initiates into silent submission. And yet, in spite of being mind raped from all four corners of the seat, the brainwashing of the people is not yet complete. Our final critical reinforcement step has to occur, and the beauty of it, from the perspective of the society shapers above, is that the final stage of the process will happen all by itself. After having been prepped from all four corners, a target will inevitably code a conversation with another unsuspecting boob about something that one or more of the four bullhorns had been blaring about. Maybe his talk will occur near a water cooler, or maybe over lunch in the building's cafeteria, deprived and devoid of any alternative information or opinion. Boob number one will inevitably repeat something that was blasted into his head. In response, boobs 2, 3, etc. will all nod their empty heads in agreement. Here's a real-world example, which all of you have surely witnessed in real life, of how the reinforcement process worked to support the absurd fairy tale that was the official explanation behind 9/11 false flag. Normie 1. They're saying now that there were 19 suicide hijackers with box cutters that hijacked those four planes. Normie 2. That's correct, and the fire from the jet fuel was so intense that it melted the steel support structures of the Twin Towers. Normie 3. Bastards! They hate us for our freedom. Now let's try one related to the stupid 19 scandemic. Normie 1. I hear that death toll now is up to 1 million in the United States. Normie 2. You're not following the 6-foot social distance rule. Step back, please. Normie 3. Why is our office even open anyway? We should all be home sheltering in place. And eat all the garbage and consume all the toxins we want. Along we wash our hands, wear our mask, be 6 feet apart, but everything else is okay. As long as you do those 3 steps, you won't get COVID, right? Allegedly. So it's hilarious, man. Good grief. I'll continue on. You see, notwithstanding our advanced intellects, we humans, regardless of IQs, education, or professional accomplishments, remain social animals by nature. In this respect, we are similar in our core impulses to cows, sheep, lemmings, fish, or birds. It is the peer-approved validation of our opinion, even more so than the original deafening blare of the full 4 bullhorns of bullshit which created it. That would not only mentally and emotionally seal their erroneous belief in concrete, but also automatically induce fear and loathing for the stray conspiracy theorists who dare to question it. That's how Bernays' grand game of mass deception and manufactured consensus works. It's black magic on the group mind. And so, my dear newbies and normies, now that you understand the philosophical underpinnings of the surprisingly simple secret of society shaping, ask yourself this question. How did I really come to know what I think I know? Question everything, my friends. One nation under control. Let's all say we got the Real ID Act. We can be safe. And we can provide election integrity, right? Hallelujah. I can dream that the government will protect me at all costs. I will trust the state with my life and soul. Something to really think about, okay? It's just mind-blowing. Doesn't matter what side of the paradigm you're on. Like wearing cowbells around their necks. Yes, I'm walking anti-matter. I don't know why. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. I just find it very entertaining. And I read the book Propaganda. And I even studied TV production too when I was a kid during the high school years. I learned a lot of good tricks in the trade. So always observe responsibly. And I was in the carny too, traveler merchant. So I know hustle people. I see how others hustle as well. And don't get me wrong, we've all been swindled one way or the other, but doesn't mean we can be habitual offenders at it, right? Being a trapaholic. Remember, it'd be a good program. Let's join Trapaholics Anonymous. I gotta say this. Observe responsibly, do your homework. Now you got technology at your fingertips. Utilize it for the better cause. Improve yourself and others. Don't get caught in this media manipulation. A lot of things have happened. And in my past episodes, I bring that out multiple times. So that's all I gotta say about this. And that will be it. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share this with your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, and all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use decorum. I'll leave the footnotes of these articles on my page. If you want to contact me, go to ll3-podcast@proton.me. If you want to donate, go to paypal.me, cash.app/look3. If you want to give me a little crypto love, steam it at LL3-podcast. If you want to support Mr. Mike King and the site, Real News and History, donate. Got a Patreon account. Buy his books, physical, PDF. He needs it. People he pisses off a lot of people. If you get offended, no Lenny Bruce for you. Don't have any Shakespeare books on your shelves. All right? Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that the demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love. And may your guardian spirits be with you.